This is the innards of the Sharp VZ-2500 cassette deck that uses the flying fast forward rewind arm and gear assembly. This is the deck itself right here, and this has been removed with a lot of work. You notice what I do is as I remove the parts in layers, and I take lots of digital pictures. I number where I take the order that I took everything out in, put everything in little plastic bags so that it can go back in the reverse order that I took it apart. Now, what happens when this thing is engaged in rewind, okay, this little lever, let's see if I get something to point with. Now, this little lever is lifted up here, and it untraps this gear assembly, which flies around like that and engages the gear to reverse the tape, to rewind the tape. Pushing the fast forward lever allows the gear to fly around the other way and engage the take-up reel. Here's what happens. Now, I've got this in macro. It takes a while for this camera to focus when it's in macro. And there it is. I think you can see, yeah, there it is right there. Now, let's get a nice close-up. See the crack? Let's see if I can get this. I don't know. Well, maybe I can get this in a better spot. It's very hard to see it because it's such a fine hairline crack. That may show up better right there. There it is right there. You see the crack? That's what happens, and it happens to all of them. Once this gear cracks, it loses its grip on this center metal post, and it just sits there and either slips or it doesn't have a lot of friction, so it can't take the tape up correctly, and it just stalls. Now again, this does not affect the playback or record. It only affects the rewind and fast forward. And to get this off is very difficult because this assembly from back here, the belt drive is right there in the pulley. This is the clutch right here, which has a felt pad that keeps the pressure on this by this spring here, and this whole thing is glued together. The shaft is glued both sides on this little brass nut right there, and on the other side it's glued here. So very difficult to get it apart. But to pin this gear, you do have to take the whole thing apart. And you can see down in here, I think you can anyway. Let me see if I can reposition the light. It's difficult here. You can see down here, yeah, the gear itself has an extended collar. I'm not sure if I can get this around here to show. There it is. You can see the crack goes you can see the crack right there on the collar. That crack goes all the way through the gear. The fortunate thing is that once it cracks, it takes the tension off the gear and it won't crack any further. But of course, once it starts slipping, there's nothing that can be done to save it. You can't put super glue on it because super glue will not adhere to nylon, and it'll just muck up everything else. So we're going to try to have new gears made for this. There's a fellow on that I'm just getting to know now that can probably make gears for these, and hopefully he can. There's not a lot of substitutes for these decks. They're used in the VZ-2500, VZ-3500, and I'm sure a lot of others. I just got an Optonica deck, which is made by Sharp, but it's a much better deck, and it's nothing like this one. It looks on the outside, it looks the same. I might be able to retrofit it into a boombox, I'm not sure. But hopefully we can fix this one up. But anyway, this is the more detailed look at what the inside of this deck looks like.